people. If you are here, you can write something in chat. So you have confirmation of your presence, of your existence in this world. Okay, so today we are going to work on cinematics in the 8th map of the Scourge of Lordaeron campaign. This map is basically ready. I had to playtest it a bit, probably balance a bit, fix some bugs here and there, but the map works. It is quite complex map. It should not have a lot of differences from the original. I mean, of course it's completely different, but the gameplay principles are the same. So today we are going to work on cinematics, and you will see me laying down the cinematics from the very first point. Okay, last time I worked on cinematic, I worked from an already established set of regions and cameras. Today this is not the case. Okay, I will work from scratch. Okay, so since the chat seems to be quite shy, I will go on and start working on it. So, first of all, the first thing you need to do if you want to change, if you want to lay down a cinematic, you need to move the units you have there during gameplay, okay? Usually my best advice is to encapsulate your cinematic into its own environment and hide all things you don't need during the cinematic. So for instance, this knight, for example, we can move away a bit more, and the same we can do with these peasants. They might be on the background, but for now I want to focus on the shots I need. So, how does the first cinematic in Dissension works? It works like that. You have your camp, where you have Captain Luke Valenfort, which in Re-Reforged is represented by this model. And he is here, and I will say he's just chatting with some of his men. Like, we can place him here, or we can decide where is the best place to put this man. We can put a couple footmen here around him. His men, they are chatting with him. They are trying to warm up in the cold, frozen north. And then, certain point, an emissary arrive. And to actually show the fact that Luke de Valenfort is less important than the emissary, I would like to put the emissary a bit on the high ground here. Because we all know, Star Wars teaches us well, the high ground is the best thing you can do, you can have, in order to win any situation. So, here we have the first point, then we need to add the emissary, okay? In my opinion, having a Zeppelin flying to Northrend to drop an emissary is quite dull, okay, it's dull. Because, you see, okay, Lordaeron uses Zeppelin. I mean, okay, they can use Zeppelin as temporary mean to move their troops, but a royal emissary, it doesn't make much sense. So my idea is, in the mission just in 2 missions earlier, in the interlude, we have Uther talking to Jaina, and Jaina is a mage in Dalaran. So we can think, okay, Uther says, I need to speak with Ternas. It speaks with Ternas, and then Ternas say, hey, I need the help of the mages in Dalaran, which are of course involved in the situation. So we can use a teleport, but a teleport is a bit much in my opinion. I think something like an hologram, to stay true with the Star Wars theme I was talking before, is the best way to go. So for example, my best guess would be to have here an emissary and 2 Dalaran footmen behind them, and for now this Dalaran footman will be just done this way because I not imported the model yet. I can import the model, of course, and do it, but for now I haven't. With the emissary in the center. I cannot preview special effects in the 1.33 editor because they broke something in the editor, and so the editor thinks all the popcorn particles are not correctly baked. It's not true. They are correctly baked in the game, but also in the editor, but the editor cannot show them unless you do some tricks like reloading the map. Once you place them as custom units, then it loads, but it's stupid. Okay, it's very, very dumb. So I will probably preview it using the old editor, which I have a backup copy. And we'll have these units have effect, a vertex color effect, showing them to be transparent with some particles, showing that this is like an astral message, okay, using some kind of Dalaran wizardy incredible magic. So this will basically be a scene. So we need to find this emissary, and I think this is a bit too silver moony. Let's think of someone else. Of course, an elf could be good, but also not an elf since we are in Dalaran. So we had the game model is a chaplain, but I don't really like the chaplain so much. I have mages. I could use mages. We can check out what do I use in the Dalaran map. Hopefully it will not crash. I see 9 people and no message in chat. This makes me a very, very sad developer, you know. So let's see what I used in the scene with Dalaran. I don't want to show someone with a horse. No horses, please. Just emissaries. Let me have a look. So I here have a lot of these guys. So I think actually one of these might be a very, very good choice. All these kind of guys, but this is not royal enough. I don't like how it looks. These will be the troops you can see behind. So yes, I think this one is the best one. Of course, with this amazing purple armor, I have to import the textile, the model, and also these models in order to it to look good. I think it's nice to involve Dalaran once more in the campaign because it's the best way to represent it. So let's do this. Okay, let's import all of these models. Let me check these models. We have Dalaran Footman with all the various textures, and then we should have also unit creeps emissary, and we have this model and this texture. Yes, so this is the stuff we need to add, and we'll add it immediately so we can have immediately a preview of how our map looks. And I think it would be quite nice to have this Dalaran effect here. So okay, let's go to import. We will manually import, even if this map is currently saved as a folder, so you can drag and drop your texture, your files inside the map folder. I think it's better for today's stream to show it using the old asset manager, okay, our beloved asset manager. We go to share, oh, wrong, we have to share here, models, and we have, I think the emissary is one of these, emissary fixed, yes. I don't remember what I fixed, but I fixed something for sure. Then I have the, I think it's here, yeah, I think it's here, and in updated we have, yeah, Captain, okay. This is all, probably a lot of this stuff is old to CSW standard, but it's all their models. They gave all these models to me to better enhance some kingdoms and clans where I need it, and I really appreciate. So a big thank you to all of them, because their models are really, really amazing. Maybe they have a bit too much models. This is, but this is mostly their problem, not mine. Okay, because if you add too many models, the game is not happy, because the file size gets too big. A lot of problems they well know about. Okay, $run footman. Let me make this easy. Please, please, Windows. Why are you making it hard for me? Shield or ORM? No. $run footman. Let me do this. This is better. Main ORM. Portrait. On diffuse. Shield normal. Main normal. Weapon emissive. Shield diffuse. And main diffuse. And then we have to find the emissary. So we need to get back. No, to back. Okay, let's go back here. And this is probably in texture, and the IAlpha emissary. This is main diffuse clean. IAlpha emissary, main diffuse. What's the difference between these two? This is later, so I will use this one. Okay, I have so many files I don't even remember all of them. We now go to Warcraft, and so we get all of these, and we remove all of these in order to have them function properly. If some path is wrong, the model will not look good. For the emissary, I need to go here and check out emissary and replace all of the things, okay, in order to directly change the game model. And it's done. Okay. Ooh, okay, I have not made a mistake. Perfect. So now we go to units and we add a new kind of footman, and we got FDD, and this will become $run footman. We don't need many things, or even better, as I like to do usually, because it's more clean within the game. $run within the game way of categorize things. And for this incredible footman, we will not change the icon because it's space. We go to $run footman, and of course something is missing. I must have added something on the wrong path. So we have $run, and we have to check footman, main diffuse. I don't see the pauldron here, so we need to go again to shed models. $run footman. I don't see it. Maybe it uses the same pauldron as the captain. Who knows? To know, we need to open Reterra Model Studio. Yes, it's always that fun. 13 people watching and not one message in chat. This makes me sad. I am just joking, of course. You are free to not write anything if you want, but I would really love to see something, to have some kind of reaction from you. I can actually use it. I can go directly here and go to the $run. Oh yes, not, yeah, that makes sense. When it's not saved it doesn't. Yes. See, I'm speaking, so I forget things. Let me check all the textures. Let's see how many times it takes to load. Okay, perfect. Edit textures. And it uses Captain Weapon Diffuse also. Oh. And Captain Pauldron. So we have Captain Weapon Diffuse, all Captain Pauldron stuff, and also the Captain Main Diffuse. Oh my god. It uses a ton of texture, this thing? Oh, why? God, why? So, main diffuse from the Captain, let me just add them this way. So we go to shared molds, human pack, Dalaran Captain main diffuse, here we are. Then we have Dalaran Captain Pauldron diffuse, Dalaran Captain Pauldron emissive, Dalaran Captain Pauldron, where are you? ORM, am I right? Pauldron M emissive and Pauldron diffuse. Then you have main diffuse, only main diffuse, and Captain diffuse, weapon diffuse. Okay. Okay, Captain weapon diffuse. We remove everything from here. I probably need to restart the world editor for the changes to take effect. And let's use a ballot player. And let me see, it's here. And of course, this is very, very flashy. And yeah, we can go with the default emissary. Emissary, where are you, my friend? Here we are. Are you fixed? I think you are. You are all cleaned. No, you have no blood, because this is in the campaign, this model is used for the elf Arthas takes captive at the beginning of the invasion of Quel'Thalas, so it's bloody. Okay, so I cleaned it, and if I remember correctly, with the help of Ardenazo, so also thanks to him, I just improved a bit on the texture. Most work was already done by him. I like this here. You have this scene where there's 3 footmen are here, and then this emissary appears, and then we have the captain who say, hey, what are you doing here, my friend? And he answers, you have to go away by royal edict. And so we can involve the Dalaran mages here and remove the horrible Zeppelin. And this is good because you can see Lordaeron is so strong, it can ask other kingdoms to do something like that for him, and it makes sense. It all makes sense instead of having troops from Lordaeron going here with Zeppelin, because if they all come here with Zeppelin, why don't use a fleet of Zeppelin instead of a fleet of ships? So let me reload the map, so I have to save, close the editor and reload in order for the changes to take effect. Okay. Let me close the editor. 1 second and reload the editor. Of course, for anyone who is following, who is in chat, if you have any question, you are welcome to ask me by writing in chat, and I will answer if I can. Okay, let me check if it worked. And it worked, okay? Increasing my map file size by 10 megabytes. Yeah, I couldn't wait for that, but it worked. Okay, so we have this scene, a very, very expensive scene. We can also think that in the beginning we don't need all of these units to be at the barricade so much. Maybe we can move them later, I don't know. Maybe it could also be nice to have these units down here. Maybe these two people should be here speaking, like watching the horses, and the knight, we could place the knight here close to this other, so this make a better scene in my opinion. And yeah, this is the first part. Okay, the second part, as you know, so the first part is the one that's represented by these this audio, and one of my suggestions when making a cinematic is always to listen to the audio, okay, or read the text if you don't have audio available. So we start from here.
I apologize, emissary, but the prince is away on an errand. What brings you to this desolate place?
Okay, this is what happens immediately. You have this scene, you can see these three soldiers here warming up, and then an emissary appears with this sort of astral projection, so it's half here, half not here. And of course, if you think this is not a good solution to the problem, let me know. I mean, I'm open to this kind of suggestion still. This is what I think is most fitting, but maybe a teleport could be better. I'm not such an expert on Warcraft lore, so some of you could say, no, this is not possible in Warcraft, so you need to teleport. And if you say so, I will make him teleport, okay, with this group of men. And then we have this.
By royal edict, you men are to return to Lord Aran immediately. Lord Uther has convinced the king to recall this expedition.
Okay, so this is more or less the scene with him turned around to speak to him. Or even not turned around, just turning his head. Then we have
We to just pick up and leave?
like this, him speaks, and then again.
That's correct. My men report that the roads from here to the shore are held by the undead.
Some pan
You'll need
here.
to find an alternate route back to your ships.
And after this pan, he just vanishes, or go away by teleporting back, or just vanish the astral projection. And once this is done, we can focus on him.
To hell with the undead. We'll cut our way through the woods, man.
And when you say that, it moves towards this position, and we see some peasants like here speaking, moving away, and this peasant moving here to walk, something like that. After that, we have the second scene. Okay, so the second scene is, I think it should be mostly around here, because this is a pretty nice panorama. Okay, you can see the game view. This is pretty nice to look at, so I think this is can be quite good for all artists' runs. You can even see some fish and transparency. And I need to have, for the second scene, my nice captain here, like speaking with one of his men, while the peasants are here to walk. And you can see activities, probably just animations, okay, not yet cut into the woods, or maybe also already cut into the woods. This is something I have to decide. And at this point we have Arthas and Muradin coming into play. So we go to custom, take the no glow version, and the first thing Arthas says is,
Captain, why are the guards not at their posts?
okay, so this is something that makes sense with Arthas that comes like through here. Remember, when making a cinematic, you don't need to show everything. So even if the direction doesn't make full sense, maybe it should be better from here instead of from here. If it is better from to look at, it's better to use it, okay? So we have these two incredible guys coming up, but they are not alone, because of course we have the most faithful captains in the world following close by, okay? So it's something like that. Arthas comes, we want Arthas to take a bit of the high ground in order to give him a bit of importance here, like, hey captain, why are not the men on his posts? And maybe we want to have Muradin a bit further back, like they are walking together, and then Arthas just accelerates a bit when he notices that the men are not at their posts, and Muradin remains a bit on the back because it's not, they're not his man. So it's like here. I don't like when characters are so inclined. I want them to be a bit more clearly. Okay, this is much better. And so artists come here, and then the captain comes closer, and after coming closer, like a bit worried about the tone of Arthas, it says,
Well, my lord, your father had our troops recalled at Lord Uther's request.
and this is basically it. We can actually, I would like him to be a bit more, a bit less inclined if possible. Maybe I should, let me see if I can. If I can a little bit ease this out. Okay, it's a bit less strong now. Just for cinematics, this area, so who cares? So this is perfect. We have like this, something like this scene here. I want to show in the back them talking, a bit of movement here. So they say the camp is moving. This fire will be, there will be no one here, so they stop resting. The units are still guarding this position. But yeah, I think we will probably try to hide them guarding the position in order to not contradict something Arthas says, because we need them to guard that position. So we probably will exclude this from the view in order to not show it in that point. If a player notices later, who cares? Because who knows what the posts are? Of course, these are their posts, because the undead will keep coming from this area during the map, so they need to be there. But of course, we can imagine other units, other troops, and so we will not show them, and instead show the activity there, which is not supposed to be there. Okay, not all units should not be there, cut into the woods on Arthas' plan. So this is probably the way we want to see how the captain speaks to Arthas. After that, let me save a bit. Okay. And after that, we have another. So we can close maybe this. Okay. We have another line, which is,
Uther had my troops recalled. Damn it! If my warriors abandon me, I'll never defeat Mal'Ganis. The ships must be burned before the men reach the shore.
this is something we cannot say here. Okay. You cannot watch the captain and say the ships must be burned. This is not possible. This will be terrible from a narrative standpoint. So when they stop speaking, this footman will move along here, going over there, and then after the captain speaks to Arthas, he will just walk here, because Arthas will not answer, just move his head. After he moves his head, he will start coming here, walking through here, and then when it's like here, with Muradin following him. Okay, so we have Muradin that from there comes here, very close. I like this. And the captain will rotate, of course, towards him, and we will have something Let me check the better way to see this. We will see too much, so we have probably this. The captain moves away, and then we have like a camera moving from here to here, following back, and then we have a cut to him here, and when he's almost arrived, it will start speaking from this angle, still showing the base up there and far away from his troops, and then we'll speak to Muradin, and after he say that, Muradin will answer like that.
Isn't that a bit much, lad?
And then I imagine something. We have this.
Burn down to their frames. No one goes home until our job here is done.
I want here a close-up of Arthas, similar to the culling, that from the perspective of Muradin, he goes up and close up to his face with this dark and icy background, foreshadowing what is yet to come. Okay, so this is the main layout. Of course, since the map starts over here, completely different place, we need to introduce this place a little bit before moving into the gameplay section. So to do so, and sorry for the repetition, we will add the two captains. Actually, we invert. No, this is not my captain. This is okay. We invert their positions because it's the position they have there. And then walking, we'll also have Arthas and Muradin. And this will be silent, just a shot with this, starting from this dwarf and then going up, showing them walking to this road, leaving the dwarfs behind. Of course, we can imagine the dwarfs help them. Okay, so we have all this dwarfs unit here, and they walk along this road when it cuts to black. And then the map starts at this position, more or less. Okay, so this is my plan. This is my plan. Have you any thoughts on the plan? Suggestion? You think I'm doing something terribly wrong? So let me check the chat. Oh, someone wrote in chat. Hello, Forgrim. Don't worry, you don't need to apologize. If any one of you have ideas, suggestions for this cinematic, speak now or be silent forever. I don't know the actual formula in English for this, but please, this is the time. If you have suggestions, this is the best way to convey your suggestion now. Okay, because this is live. So if you say, I think you are doing this really bad, then tell me, okay? Before I've done it, because once it's done, it's done. I can tweak it a bit, but remake something like that is very, very time consuming. You will see now, because I will start dropping down regions using a specific name pattern in order to recognize each region when I do triggers, and all cameras. And once I'm done that, I will start coding. I will probably not code today, because it's too long. I will code on Sunday, and once it's done, I have to test it and basically adjust all cameras to be perfect. Okay. Oh, I'm not watching the world data right now. Sorry, guys. Okay. So, if no one has any suggestion or comments, critics for that, I'll start dropping down the regions. As a rule of thumb, I always use a specific system to move units. Basically, units start from a certain region, and they spawn in the middle of this region and move towards the middle of the next region when they are animated, of course. When they move towards the middle of this other region, they will be stopped as soon as they enter, as they touch this region, and they will be oriented to an appropriate angle. And an appropriate animation will be played. And any walking animation sound will be stopped. This is how it works. Of course, that means that when you place regions where unit starts, and this is usually indicated by the 00 number, like cinematic 01, footman 00, this is where the footman spawns during the cinematic, the unit must be placed in the middle of the region. So since I have placed the unit first, I need to place the region exactly around the center of where the unit is placed. So keeping in mind that where the unit is placed is the center of the region. When I move units, I have to think where the units will come from, and considering that, I have to place the region in order to be a bit more towards the unit, because if I want a unit to reach a certain position, I have to have this position be exactly the position where the unit will be stopped, which is the first point in the region the unit will touch when moving towards that region. This is how it works, okay? This is a very, very fail-safe system, but of course it requires a bit of planning and a lot of naming conventions. If I will not follow naming conventions, it will be a nightmare. So let me start. I usually use dark blue for these things, or blue, just blue, and scene 01, and then I will add something like emissary. One can say, why there is not 00? Because the emissary don't move, okay? Doesn't move, sorry. Then we have Dalaran footman. Of course, there are two Dalaran footmen, and I use the numbers to assign the various positions during the cinematic, so I use letters. Then I have Valenfort, and this is 00. You can see it's not always possible to center, so we need to maybe adjust a bit the position to something that makes sense, like that, okay? We are footman brazier. Region P, sorry. 0 and A, sorry, because there are two. This is B. Then we have footman Tolk 00. We want him to move away, so we'll give it a position like here, watching those two people. This is 01. Then we Valenfort, and one can say, okay man, but this Valenfort is centered. It is true, but there is a reason for this. The reason is that this is a first scene, this is a second scene, and so when I cut from one scene to the other, I don't need them to move using the game pathfinding. I can just teleport them, and if I teleport, the behavior is the same as having them spawning, so I can center the region around the unit. Then I have this new region, and this is how I do it, okay? You can imagine it start moving here. As soon as it touches here, it will stop and orient itself, so it will be more or less that position. Game pathfinding allowing for it. The same with Arthas. As you can see, basically the region where Arthas is exactly the same, because Arthas comes from the other side. Arthas here will come likely from here, probably a bit closer in order to not interfere with Muradin, and this is the first region Arthas spawns in. We have Muradin that spawns here, and then Muradin moves here. We have also this Valenfort, let me use Arthas, from here to here. And this is 03, 02. Okay. And then we have Marwyn and Falric, and this is 00 of course for both of them. Let me remove the water to see the region underneath. And this is Marwyn. and this is Falric. Okay, save. Okay, so this point we can go forward and add more regions. Sorry. It's again the work has started again, so a bit more tired than usual. We have here peasant A and peasant B. Of course, these two peasants will then be moved, so we have 0, 0 and 0, 0. Then we have this one coming here at the exact center. The closer we are to the crate, the better. And then the same for you. Then we have the knight. And then we'll move this knight basically here. Let me check where. Yes, the footman will come towards the knight. So basically, we will have something like that. These two and this one are placeholder from the. These are the regular units. This I will add them back to their position once the cinematic is done. These units will not be hidden, and they will just be the units of the units standing around, standing behind in the cinematics. Just like these peasants here will cut to the woods, and these two will be walking. Okay, probably they will start walking after the first scene. If they are not in camera, I don't need to move them. Perfect. Now I need to have Muradin. Muradin here again. Then I have this Muradin 02. And then I have another Muradin here, which is the final one, where he moves while we Muradin 03 already exists. What? Wait, what? Oh yeah, that is. Oh, I inverted them. This will be so. This will be 04, and this will be 03. And I have to invert him here and here, and then we have Heartless here. 04. Because we have Artist 03, which is that one, yes. So this is actually 05, this is 03, and then we have here 04. Then we have Falric here, and this is Falric 01. Falric 02, and here we have Marwin 01, Marwin 02. Okay, let me save the orientation correctly. Perfect. Okay. Now, I'm going to put down all the cameras, and then I'll be open to question from my dear public if anyone is interested. We have camera, okay. To make sure to follow my naming convention, I will load another map and load some cameras from there. So I will load the previous map in the campaign. Here we are. you can see all the cameras already. So these are important, and I will add these two. This should be enough. Perfect. This is the camera view. This is used to actually move the camera to the precise position where you want it once the cinematic is ended. In some cinematics, usually in cinematics related to optional quests, the camera returns to the last camera you were watching before the cinematic, but not in this case, okay, because this is, well, the first cinematic, so you have to carefully place that. And I will place it here. So this is, I should actually try to do this and use, this is the game view, and then this is view, select the camera. Okay, this is quite nice, maybe a bit up. Perfect. This should be good. Well, this is easy. Now let's come to the difficult part. Let's remove these regions and let's have some incredible fun. So the first shot will show all the units here behind the guard position and there, so we need to show like something like that with them speaking. Of course, just moving the animation, probably something a bit more far away, so like that, and we need to adjust this. So let's make this, let me check, too much. Oh, this is good. We can see also the base here. Let me check the fog clipping. Probably a bit higher. Hey, this is perfect now. Okay, this angle of attack is perfect. And we want to have this far clipping as low as possible, because it's what causes lag. Okay, because it tells you how much you can see with your camera, how much items, elements, models it will be it will render inside the view. So please don't make it too high when you make your own cinematics. This is quite nice. The field of view is a bit too large. I will reduce it a bit. Perfect. And I think this is very good for the first camera. Then we want to start from this camera and pan a bit around like that to center, more or less center the view on Captain Marwyn, not fully centered. Create another camera. This is 802, and this camera will be a bit closer. So we have like this moving with a bit of zoom. And while zooming, we also reduce a little bit, just a little bit, the field of view in order to enhance the zoom-in effect. And this is while, of course, we have the teleportation or astral projection, the magic from the emissary. Once this is done, we focus on the surprised captain, and we need to find the best possible angle. So the best possible angle, let me give all courts move towards him. I can imagine they all salute the emissary, whoever he is. Who is this guy? They salute. He is like surprised. Who are you? And so this probably is the best one, which is head turned around. We want to have them occupy the 2/3 of the screen. And this is scene 01, B, Valon 4th. We try to round this and reduce a bit the field of view and a bit the angle of attack, and increase a bit the Z offset. This way it should be quite centered, and quite centered here. They should be rotated. Let me check if we can even improve a little bit. This is probably the best way to have two lines. They are still quite near. But we can see. We can adjust this, of course, when we test it. It's probably the best way is adjust it while we test. Then we have to make the other. And since we are looking from, we have the emissary on the left, we should keep it this way, so we need to move and still have the emissary on the left. And now we can see the emissary here with its head turned around. Probably I will turn around the emissary a bit in order to make it a bit more easy. This is probably the way, something like that. And we can call this the emissary. Let me see, can I see a difference? No, so the smaller the better. Let me see if I can reduce a bit the distance. Maybe increase a bit the distance. Better. Okay, maybe reduce a bit this one. Okay, this is better. Okay, once this is done, this is basically the first scene. Okay, they speak, and then once they've done speaking, we'll have him leaving and him telling the units to move. So when you say you have to go away, then we cut to this scene where we have this good fellow here, like zoomed in while this appears, and this is scene 01, C01. We have this scene with a bit close up. Okay, we can imagine he is disappearing in this time, so it's animation. There is animation here on the first plane. We can try to make this to do thirds, so probably something like this. Okay, a bit more centered around the captain, and then we have just going out, and here we can see everything. We can move a bit the camera around here and do something. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Scene 01, scene 02. And we can reduce a bit the distance, but increase a ton the field of view. Perfect. Something like that. I will see a bit of the barricade. I will probably need to adjust it. We can even move it a little bit down here. I could actually move it down here to look at these woods, but not by that angle. So I can try to move it. Let me check here, like here. I think here it's good. I try to not look at the barricade. Something like that. Moving like that, with peasants moving here. Something like this. We need to have peasants here, actually. I need to add some regions for peasants. Something like that. So we have here, and it zooms out and moves towards here. Quite fast, because we have him speaking and then moves here. I need probably to adjust this, refine it when I see it in motion, because it's harder to look at from this position. And now we'll come to, so I'm missing some additional regions for peasants. We need to have some peasants speak here, like that. Lots of footmen, so we'll add all of this to the game. Okay, to the cinematic. This is them. They will be added there. Once I've done this, I need to prepare the cameras here. So the first camera will be with all the stuff going on there, and Arthas coming closer to Volume 4. So since Arthas starts from here, let me check where Arthas starts. Here. We can actually think to do something like that. Scene 01, D01, and we can 60, it's okay. This is the distance, a bit more the offset, a bit too much in this case. This is perfect, and then we just move here. Scene 01, D02. Maybe a bit further, so we can try to, let me check. This way we light 2/3 on the screen. Then we have, after we see here, he stops and say Captain, and then here the captain, here the footman moves, and the captain moves from here, and we can try to zoom from this. This is how it looks. With Arthas on the back, we can try to zoom from these to probably these. Yes, to try to take the right portion. So this is what we want. The footman is actually less important, so we'll focus a bit more on Captain. Scene 01, we see the E. 01. Reduce a bit distance. Too much. Too much, yes, this is too much. And then we have like, let me check, this is too much. I need to increase it. Okay. And here we want it like that, and then that we want to have this with Arthas, and this is scene 01 E 02 Arthas. Maybe just E02, it's enough. And then after that we want him to speak, so we want to place them at the 2/3 like before. Scene 01 E F Volume 4th. This is strange. I will check out the file clipping later. Okay. Okay, let me reduce here. Distance can be still big, but we can reduce a bit this to make it zoomed. This is the wrong name, and this is not zoomed enough. And we can increase the distance a little bit. And then after he speaks, he will just move away, and then, oh, of course, I think I've not added Volume 403. move away to here. This for 403. And then we have camera. Let me save a second. I'm almost done. This is of course just setup. Then there is the code. Okay. So after that, we will consider this part here. So yes, this should be good. And then after that part, we have Arthas coming like this way. So we can start from this position, and zoom out a bit and move towards here. With Muradin follow closely. With less, this is perfect. Scene 01, and this is F02, so we can call this F01. Okay, and this is F02. This is where it says you should burn all the ships. And then we have here Muradin that says, isn't that a bit too much, lad? And this is scene 01 FG Muradin. But no, I think this is better, yes. This is a bit and then we have the final scene. So G, just G. We don't need G Muradin because G Muradin, yes, because it's still G, the other one, which is Arthas, and this will be better to look at that. And he will speak with Muradin, but also with his man, but basically with Muradin. So like that. I will change a rule here because I will make something like that. Starting from this, let me try. Scene 01, G Arthas 01. Want to watch up. We want to reduce. We want to have fixed distance too little. Perfect. Maybe here and here. Perfect. And after that, we want to actually come to this incredible evil face. And here we'll have something like 600. No, oh my god, too much. And here we have something like this. There is a limit to this. Let's put 5,000 here. I probably have. Perfect. So, from his perspective and his perspective, of course, this is, maybe I will try to do this the other way, but I think this is a bit better because it sees Arthas' face not turned around but this way, and it's much stronger. This scene is not a bit much, lad, but it's not too focused on itself. And then it turns and it speaks, and then it's more speak to everyone. Probably I can try to move my 2 footmen here, my 2 captains here, to just be a bit more involved in this, even if they don't see anything. Okay, that's more or less it. Let me make the last one, add the last missing regions, and I'll call it a day. My god. Very tiring. So, let me start from... Oh my god, I have something. Okay. Okay, so we need to start from something here. I think this armor is quite nice actually. Let me create a camera because otherwise it will be a problem. Maybe like 60 and let me go closer. We have this brave man, brave dwarf, sorry, and then we go up. Oh yes, this is scene 01. GH01, and from here we move like here, following them, something like that. And this has a bit more distance, but is more field of view. Too much. Better. A bit higher. Okay. Done. Let me do last 2 regions. Use peasant C. Peasant D. Peasant A. Peasant F. Now we have footman peasants. We will move him here. We have also these. G. This is not change. G. H. And then we have all the positions from these. So we have all of these going here. Done. Okay, this is the preparation for a cinematic. So guys, it's been almost 1 hour and a quarter. If I'm very tired, if you have any question, I will gladly answer if you have any comments. Today the chat has been a bit shy, but who cares? I still am really glad you follow. Remember to follow on Twitch, to subscribe on YouTube, to follow on Twitter, and also if you like to throw some bucks to a poor developer, to join my Patreon as patrons, okay? If you have any question, I'm here. I'm also available on Discord, but now it's much faster for me to reply, so if you want to know anything else, this map should be released in beta next week. I think it will be ready next week, and I hope by the end of the autumn to have everything released and the human campaign will be ready. And this is a very, very big accomplishment for me. And I will not stop at the human campaign, but of course I ask support. I mean, people do support me. I really appreciate if you support on Patreon, if you follow, if you subscribe. It's important because it's a lot of work. You can see how much work this is, how much time it takes to make something. I hope you all can see it, and if there is no question, I can say good night. Let me know. I will give you 1 minute or two if you want to ask something or say something. That's the time, because I see there are quite a few people in chat, but no one is writing anything. This is weird. Never happened before. Sometimes I have even like 3 people in chat and a lot of text. And today I have a lot of people in chat, but no one is writing anything. So anyway, I hope to be much more consistent with the streaming schedule in the coming weeks, and I would like to become an affiliate on Twitch, but I cannot be so consistent like others, because of course Twitch is not my first this is not my work. Okay, I have a work. I am a teacher. So I already have a work, and this is why my voice is completely gone. I am very, very tired from the first day of school, and I have also and of course I have to develop this thing, and this thing is a huge work. It's like a second work, and it's very, very difficult to do, very, very long. And of course streaming on Twitch makes it harder, because I can share with you, and I love to share it with you because I love to teach and I love to share these kind of things. But of course, to speak while I do something, it's usually a bit slower than doing something by myself. Thank you, Pico 5498. I really appreciate, and I hope my campaign will be enough. I hope that the Scourge of Lordaeron will be as good as it deserves to be this time around, and to be able to focus on the campaign next. You know, when I come to the end of a campaign to develop it, I'm a bit tired of working with the same race, same stuff. It becomes boring. With the same heroes, of course, I hate the fact that the hero of the other campaign is still fucking Arthas. So I have still to work with Arthas. I can't really stand to still be working with him. But nonetheless, this is the story, and I hope to make the end of the campaign the best possible. How do I set, Fergrim, your question, how do I set the camera time? I eyeball it. As you can see, I have eyeballed everything. Basically, you watch the editor and you watch the units, you place the regions, and you imagine the cinematics in your head. This is how I do it. I just think about the cinematic before making it, usually. I have an idea, a general idea, and then I will start implementing the idea by placing down stuff, and while I place down stuff, I usually come up with good shots, great ideas. If the cinematic comes well, they are great, otherwise they're not that great, but with ideas nonetheless. And then I try to implement them, but times are usually eyeballed, and I can say I can get them right most of the time, but sometimes there are some specific shots that require me a ton of time tweaking, because while some shots come perfect at the first time I do it just by eyeballing it, some others where there's a lot of things in motion I need to extra care, and so it's not unusual to try cinematics 30 to 50 times in order to have it to refined enough state, and usually even a bit more if I need it to be more refined than that. This is how it works. There is no other way around a lot of time. This is the big problem with the word editor. Everything requires a ton of time. And if you see me, you can say, okay, you are quite fast. Yes, I am fast, but I have a lot of experience. What I use is an interpolation. Basically, there is an action in the. I will show you the action. It's much faster this way. If you go to cinematics, and don't be scared, the cinematics are just the previous map cinematics ported, so I have everything already templated. You have this action, we see apply camera object timed with easy in out. This is very useful because it allows you to actually make a soft transition, and you can actually decide where the soft is. You want soft at the beginning, at the end, how much, and so forth, in both places. And you can here say the time, and I usually always make sure to have a precise easy in, ease out time depending on what I want, giving the time I want to interpolate with. But it's an interpolation, okay? So of course sometimes I change the camera not with an interpolation. Specifically, if you want to follow my own naming convention, sorry, I opened the wrong window. Whenever I move from a camera with a certain letter to another letter, like from A to B, then there is a cut. And in this case I use this action, which is just apply over 0 second. And this is without any interpolation, it's just change the shot. Then when you are moving inside the same letter, then you need to apply interpolation, unless I have something like that. When I add a name, usually this is done to specify who is the target of the camera in a dialogue. When you have numbers, though, you have to use interpolation. In this case, when Muradin speaks, you have this for Muradin, then you have this for Arthas, and then you have to interpolate to this other one. This is just a naming convention I use, but I think it's very clear, and so far it worked perfectly in all my maps, and if it worked for me, it works also for you. I mean, you can come up with something better, something for you, everyone can, but this works, and works quite well, because I used it a ton. And so I can easily refine and add to cinematics. In some cinematics I've added certain shots inside other shots without much trouble using these tricks. Okay, naming conventions are important. They are taught in every good programming course, and they are useful even outside of a programmer setting. Okay. Any more questions, guys? If there is nothing else, I will gladly say you good night. I hope you had fun. And I really hope what I show you here can be of an example for you to work. You can see how I work. And of course, when my maps are released, they are all open for you, so you can change them if you want, try stuff, do what you want. Keep in mind that while they are commented and very well organized, they are complex stuff, okay? So guys, good night and have fun. We'll probably see each one again on Sunday, and I really hope on Sunday to have this chat more active, okay? Good night and have a nice weekend. End of the week, maybe better.